Welcome back to the Captain's Auction Warehouse preview of the October 15th, 2022 Super Pinball Auction. And we have a great lineup of some vintage solid state games here in this series of games. You're going to see that. We're starting out with the legendary Roger Sharp on Game Plan Sharpshooter 2. This game, relatively rare game from Game Plan that only made a handful of games. Tried to compete with Gottlieb and Stern and Williams, and carved out their own niche in pinball, but it was a small niche, still very cool. This Supernova, I like the art package on this as well. Kind of a interesting horned winged creature. I'm not quite sure what that is in the back glass, but it's always kind of been a favorite of mine. And the playfield layout, kind of an interesting thing with a spinner. For the era, that was pretty cool. And you can see how the artwork plays down to the playfield. This is a Bally Freedom, the first solid state game from Bally. This is having some display issues right now, but you can still see the back glass art. Very simple playfield layout. This was, of course, produced for the Bicentennial. All three manufacturers made Bicentennial games. Freedom was made in an electromechanical game and a solid state game, and there were some playfield layout variations in the games. But this is where Bally started out learning how to do solid state pinball machines in the marketplace. You kind of have an assortment of games here before we get into some of the classic early Bally solid state games. There's a Hardbody here. This has Rachel, what's her last name? I can't read it. McLish? I don't know. Rachel Sumter. I don't know why I'm asking you, Cece. It's like women's bodybuilding for 300. I don't have that. But anyway, cool, you know, if definitely something that fits the theme in terms of the bodybuilding theme artwork, and quite the egalitarian game, I think. Motordome, very, very cool art, mirrored back glass on this game, and the very distinctive ramp set that's throughout the playfield, so very cool. You can see the kind of main guy on the Motordome artwork there. Look at that. This is another cool mirrored glass piece of artwork, Bally Midway's Cybernaut. Bally Midway, after the kind of early classic Bally's. They started co-branding with their division Midway, which started out as a separate company, making machines, at least one of which is over in the next series of games that you're going to be seeing in later posts. But some cool artwork there in the back glass and on the playfield that carries down. It's a nice art package and kind of a different play style. Has the targets, drop targets fronting the ion generator stand-up, so you kind of have to work to progress through the real set on the game. You remember from the previous video, the electromechanical Beat the Clock here is a timed pinball machine with the same name, Beat the Clock, under the Bally Midway label, using a time feature where you have to add time units to actually progress through the game and keep the game going instead of a ball in play. This was definitely a different approach from the usual thing. Pretty much every single pinball machine up to this point, you can see on the card, would say 5 balls per game. It is notably absent on Beat the Clock. You'll see there is no 5 balls per game because you could run out of time in just one ball. So it creates a different set of challenges, and one that not all players were very excited about. But for those who kind of took to the approach, it's kind of a cool, unique game. This one looks pretty too. This is Bally's Fireball Classic. Earlier we saw the original Fireball machine. This was a remake that was made just after the first era of solid state pinballs. Again, using kind of art inspired by Dave Christensen in the game. And I think some of the artwork on the playfield is actually his as well. You can see it has the trademark spinner that kicks the ball around fairly randomly, just like the original Fireball. Bally Midway's Spy Hunter, always loved the kind of cool, not quite James Bond back glass for this game. Obviously not licensed or connected to James Bond, but still pretty cool. Good artwork package on this game as well. Has the kind of bounce around, not quite Bagatelle approach on the left, which is kind of cool. And the little miniature playfield set aside, not a different level, just a kind of an inset playfield. And there you go. So there we go on that.